Hello, everybody. It is me, Pacific. Well, viewers, it's been a long ride. Today, and yes, I have done it in the past. I have changed my mind, but this time, I want to share with my viewers that this will be the last video. And before anybody thinks I've given in to the trolls, my reason goes beyond that. We're going to address Legator or Legatus Lanius. This is a man who has a total of 4 subscriptions, which we can deduce a lot from that. One, nobody gives a crap about his channel against me. It's a waste of time. 2, the minute I open a Facebook, when I'd closed it down July 9th-ish, and it's open, tells me that this is one of my Facebook friends, a wolf in sheep's clothing who's being nice to me out of one side of his mouth, but it's revealed some things. Legatus is the one who is responsible for the docs, who is responsible for the Encyclopedia Dramatica page. He's finally given himself away. That somebody has offered Loremaster's name, though when I look at Loremaster's name and do a type in and search, it pulls up an individual that doesn't look like Loremaster at all. It's a man with a family, with kid, and this doesn't look like anybody who would do the things that I had thought Loremaster was doing. Loremaster pulled his channel. I've come to the conclusion it's not Loremaster that used to have a video channel that was connected with Minor people. I don't believe he's doing this stuff. At first I did. But this guy is persistent, and in his persistence it's finally narrowed down to one of a few possible suspects. One, is this one of Gypsy's boyfriends or fans? And as much as I don't like Gypsy, and Gypsy had her own contradictions, many of them, she's a school teacher for Aurora Public Schools. I don't believe that she would hang out with somebody like this. So I don't believe it's connected to Gypsy. The next thing I thought of was the clown in Oregon. You know, the Christian who made death threats. I thought, nope, it can't be him, because this guy doesn't believe in God. He takes shots at my God is pro-evolution. But I wrote myself a note here because I didn't want to forget this. This person is a contradiction, and I'll tell you why. The other day, Legatus took the time to archive my Facebook page. So what? Big deal. Posted all of that all over his little demonic Encyclopedia Satanica site. And I called one of my friends. He and his wife both looked at this and said, what does he hope to accomplish through this? I said, the guy's a loser. We all three deduced the following. Unemployed, doesn't have a girlfriend, doesn't have any real close friends, and he's addicted to World of Warcraft or Minecraft or one of those. I am not in the gamer world, but he's got his little retarded gamer boy icon on his Legatus Lanius channel. You can go click on that. You can go look at it. That site has attracted one comment by banned user. It has also been told to me that some of the connections possibly were Liquid Sunshine, which was the girl that I talked to from Western Washington, who had been writing me and suddenly changing her tune, and I was warned by several people not to trust her, and then she was trying to warn me about somebody that she knew who is one of my fans. The bottom line is, and I hate to say this to my fans, is I don't know who I can trust in YouTube land. Which, when I think this through deeper, says, who can you trust in the cyber world anyway? Maharani talks to me very personably. We have very personable conversations. Suddenly she disappears, and at the immediate disappearance of her, Find Peace comes out saying that all these women have written her, telling her of all the hurt that I've caused them. I don't know who would have done that because I don't cause women hurt. I will not say any more about Maharani because I don't know. I think it's strange that she literally left the scene in entirety, even though she had revealed her own struggles, her own humanity, of which I don't fault her for. But as I talk to those that I know I can trust, and these are the only ones that I talk to via the phone and other forums. My Facebook page was not taken down because I have something to hide. In fact, I will tell my viewers, Pacific posted pictures. And this part right here, this will be broadcast in his Encyclopedia Dramatica. He likes to take and lift clips. He cannot make a video himself, cannot stand up and give away his voice, cannot show a picture of himself. That alone is telling. We have a psychopath who was harassing. I posted pictures of what I would call soft porn. Pictures of women embracing women. And he has posted on his site. I didn't look at this. I'm not going to look. I don't care. It's more tripe. It's not like he's trying to bring down Barack Obama or some big shot. He's going for the jugular of a YouTube very insignificant individual, myself. Insignificant meaning that most of my videos net 200, 300 views. That Legatus is too foolish to realize that since all this has begun, my subscriptions have continued to go up. Now 3,172, while he has 4 on his channel. His interest? Gaming. His interest? Internet stalking. His interest? Probing deeply into my personal business and having a fixation with me, which tells me he is either A, homosexual who is jilted that I didn't get interested in him, B, if he's an atheist, which he probably is, he contradicts himself because if there is no God, then what was wrong with me posting pictures? Why is he focusing on that? Why the fixation? It is the atheists who say there's no God. If there's no God, there's no absolutes, right? Because deep down, this loser is convicted of his own sins. That's why. Why is he focusing on the sins of Pacific and making a big brouhaha about pictures posted on Facebook or in the past, the Tumblr account? If there's no God, why is he railing and railing and railing and working that to the bone? Something to think about, viewers. He's not the smartest individual on the planet. He makes threats. The reason this is going to be my last video is not because of a loser like this. He's an ass clam. There's no other word for it. We don't know his age. We don't know who he is. And he likes it that way. Typical internet coward. We're going to post somebody's personal information, post information about their relatives, take all his Facebook friends, post them on his docs, and make snotty, rude comments to them, which this loser, moron, butthead would never make to them to their face, ever. He claimed to Michael Laidlow that he's in Canada. We don't know where he is, and he likes that because he's a typical coward, a chicken. I'm not trying to bait this guy. He baited me. He started long ago. He started making a docs. He started making Encyclopedia Dramatica, making videos, posting videos I took down, and then running back thinking he had a dog bone in his mouth and saying, look, Pacific claims to be so bold, and he took these down. No, I didn't take them down. I privatized the one video because I didn't want you to see it. But in that, an experiment was conducted without me knowing it, that you are on this 24/7. This loser is awake right now at, 1:31 a.m. Why? Because he has no job. He hasn't told us anything about himself. While he likes to say, "But Michael," and write his little cryptic, demonic, satanic infested messages. My video forum has proved the following things: that liberals are losers, that liberals are the ones with all the FU comments, with all the hate comments, with all the thumbs down, while they want to censor those of us, while they scream and yell their right to free speech, they want to censor us who say things like there is a God, that evolution is a bunch of garbage and it is a lie, and that Darwin was not an intellectual, Dawkins is not an intellectual. These people can't handle that. It bothers them, it angers them, and they become fixated with mounting a sleazy attack campaign against an individual. It's not that Pacific is some perfectly upright, flawless individual that needs to be removed from his throne. I sit on no throne. The only throne I sit in is a white porcelain throne when I go to do business, go to the toilet. Just a man who started a channel, who was honest, who was real about his faults, about his triumphs, about his exploits, about his beliefs. Legatus Loserus wants to make a case that I don't think we really know who this guy is. Actually, people that know me do. A man who struggles, a man who's bold enough to said, yeah, seeing two girls kiss and remove each other's bras is hot. Oh my gosh, this piece right here will be lifted out and published for you on Encyclopedia Dramatica. Go check it out. People like this like to take out of context. But then when I mention in the next same breath that I believe in a literal God who created a literal world in 6 literal days, resting on the 7th, that there's no salvation in any other except through Jesus Christ, they go, contradiction, contradiction. An atheist is a contradiction. There is no God, but yet they hold me to a standard. But those same people say that there is no standard. So the biggest contradiction lies not with Pacific Ocean Asia, aka Michael. There is no contradiction with me. There are things that I do that are not befitting Christian character. But do you notice something that atheists do? Atheists and Democrats, both liberal-thinking people, have already proven to us that they don't hold themselves to any standard while condemning all the rest of us that hold ourselves to a standard. Have you noticed that? Isn't that entertaining? It is liberals and atheists and Democrats that threaten me. I have never been threatened by a conservative, except those claiming to be Christians. They got mad and butthurt because I wouldn't be their friend, aka guy in Oregon. Death threats, saying I look like a chemotherapy patient and I'm scrawny and he could kick my ass and would love to tear me apart. On and on it went. And then this clown made another ID when I blocked him and said, what was wrong? We have many possible suspects, most of which are people that got mad because I wouldn't get personal with them, wouldn't write them, call them, take their phone numbers. Why would I take more people's phone numbers when I've watched what is going on the internet world? Great, I want somebody in my phone that can continue to be a problem. I don't think so. Even I have to use discernment. Now, before my fans start thinking, wow, Pacific, you've really turned on us. I haven't turned on you. It's just there's a bulk body of fans that I don't know. Out of those fans, I was thinking about all the people on my Facebook, who is the one that's sitting in here claiming to be my friend, probably saying, oh, welcome back. The only one that would know that my Facebook is reopened is one who is in my Facebook. We're getting closer to deducing. But even so, I don't care. That I will tell you this, that if I knew who this was, I would post a dox. This is his address. This is his name. This is who this clown is. And then I would call the local police where this person lives and say, did you know this guy is posting threats all over the internet under this ID? You betcha. And that person's going to make sure I don't find out where he lives. That's a coward. The Bible says, it's not the Bible, but in the American history, somebody said, don't fire till you see the whites of their eyes. This is the way trolls operate. You don't get to see the whites of their eyes. You remember what people said? You know, you go down the street. If you run up to a man and attack him from behind, they said that's a coward's fight. Then you need to face your opponent. I agree. I don't believe in fighting. I'm almost 50 years old. Getting in fist fights is for babies, for immature youth. That I'm an adult. And as a friend of mine at work said, I have people that come up and want to fight me. And I said, dude, I'm almost 45 years old. I'm not going to fight. That this person is younger than me is obvious. That this person is miserable, very obvious. That this person has no life, that goes without saying. Somebody who has a healthy base of friends, an active girlfriend, a good job, doesn't waste their time doing these things. That's a fact. 4 subscribers. And his channel's accomplishing what? Please look at the number of views of the videos that he took and reposted. None of them are in the hundreds at all. Why is that? Because nobody cares. I still get letters of people just this morning. Can I please talk to you? Would you please call me? Would you please email me? Sorry, viewers. No. No. Cannot. No more. I've had people write me from all over the world saying your stuff is so true. I've had other people write me and said, so you posted pictures. You admitted that you struggle with your own carnal side. And these people want to crucify you for it. I am not Jesus Christ. I don't claim to be Jesus Christ, but I know who Jesus Christ is. Do I live exactly as he did? No. I don't know a Christian to date who does, but I sure as hell don't know any atheist who's lived according to any standard at all, except the one they invent in their mind that they contradict over and over and over again. You see, with an atheist, with an evolutionist, there are no absolutes, except the only absolute is that Pacific must be taken down at all costs because the things he's saying are really getting to me. That's what these clowns are all about. They're a contradiction. They say there's no absolutes, but they sure do believe in absolutes. Kill him, destroy him, ruin him. Legatus is not a man. He is the one who was the one that used the guerrilla emails, the ones that you have for 1 hour and they vaporize. This isn't a man. But I want to go deeper than this fool. We've rattled and prattled long enough on him. There's nothing else to know. That he's borderline psychotic? Probably. That he has mental issues? That he's behaving in creepy fashion, stalking, fixated with everything about me? He's probably a homosexual, jilted because I don't get a boner over him. How could I? I don't even know what he looks like, and I don't get a boner over a dude. We don't know this guy's motive. That he's disturbed, troubled, insecure, pretty obvious. My reason for ending my video form is as follows. YouTube was bought out by Google. I don't like Google. Google is and has become a monopoly of which the government and nobody's doing anything about. They regulate cable companies. They regulate the phone industry. They're doing nothing about what I call an aggressive takeover of Google, forcing everybody to have a Google account or you can't access this and that. Letting them buy YouTube was a mistake. Before YouTube was owned by Google, I could block somebody and they couldn't even leave a comment on my channel. they were blocked. I liked the old YouTube. Google is doing nothing to stop bullies and harassers on the internet. Nothing. If you are a customer that is making money, if you have monetized accounts, then they'll shut people down. So it all boils down to money. But if you notice, and you can go on to almost any video and look at the plethora of FU hate-filled comments that abound all over the internet, it's finally dawned on me the internet has become a haven for the malcontent, the unemployed, people who cannot get a girlfriend. That cannot be said about Pacific. I have dated many girls in the last couple of months. Black, white, Korean. Yes, not the one a few years ago. There are girls interested in me right now, but I'm not interested in them in that way. Don't want to romance with them. I'm just friends. So it's not that Pacific can't get a girlfriend. It said, I'd like to have what I'd like to have instead of what everybody else thinks I should have. I was very happy with YouTube. They're very democratic. That even though there's a lot of yuck out there, that I could post my views and YouTube did not shut me down and censor me. But now with Google, Google just confuses things. Now you have Google notifications. Then you have all these layers for trolls to proliferate. Now they can thumbs up and they can see who thumbs up and who thumbs down your videos. They can spy on this, spy on that. And I have flagged over and over Legatus's comments. Comments where he has threatened bodily harm to me, damage to my skin and bones. Threatened. YouTube hasn't done a thing about it. Google hasn't done a thing about it. Nothing. It used to be when Minner People made the video last year saying I was a pedophile molesting the kids on my bus, his channel was taken down after I reported it very much quickly. Legatus has infringed copyrights because there's a standard YouTube license that I don't believe, I don't know this, but I don't believe I can take somebody else's video and upload it without their consent. Doesn't seem to matter. I don't care that he posts videos. I'm posting this, and I posted the other one saying what I said. Not the most Christ-like speech on my behalf, but I don't care. My Christianity and my belief in God does not hinge on what Loserus thinks of me. It hinges on an undeniable eternal fact. Christ died once for all for my sins. That's it. This is an atheist who's rabid, who's infected with his own insecure dark pus, even writing in style, acting as if though he's some demonic henchman to carry out Satan's nefarious schemes. He's obviously played too much World of Warcraft. He needs to get a freaking job. Pacific is involved in the lives of children. Pacific is involved in the lives of many. The Bible says not to let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, but somebody was in a homeless shelter. I paid for 1 month rent so that that person could get out of the homeless shelter. That's all I'm going to say, because this rat on the internet is getting way too personal. Pacific also paid somebody's, oh, here's a shocker, somebody's traffic ticket. It was high. This person had got no traffic ticket. This person would have lost their job because they would have lost their license if they didn't pay the ticket in another state. Somebody told me, if you tell your trolls that, they'll have a field day with that. I asked this person, you going to drive like that again? This person said, oh no, I've learned my lesson. God has helped Pacific learn to be more compassionate. And I try to help those that I know. This loser on the internet isn't doing a damn thing. But his whole time is consumed with dogging an individual. What does that tell you about this clown? Not much. And yet volumes. I don't need to reiterate this over and over again. Anybody who would produce a site, Encyclopedia Dramatica, and put the kind of stuff that this guy has put, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to read down that site and go, this is one disturbed individual. He's got way too much time on his hands. He doesn't have friends. He's very jealous of the number of subscriptions I have. Very jealous about my bold forthrightness and trying to find fault and saying I'm not bold because I hide this video, pull this. Sometimes I pull videos for various reasons. There's videos I made that were 4 hours long where I'm ranting about something, and I said, you know what? This isn't my best. I'm not going to upload it. No, I'm not afraid to post my comments and my views about Legatus. Why should I be? What is the worst that Legatus can do? Take my life? Jesus has something to say. Fear not him who can kill the body. Fear him who has the power to cast you into hell. Legatus lives on one plane. It's called the human plane. He doesn't have a connection with the spiritual. He probably never will. Men love darkness rather than light, lest their deeds be exposed. Legatus is on a trip trying to expose me. He's exposed nothing that I haven't already exposed long before he came along. I admitted I had a Tumblr account way before he had his little ED page. There's nothing new. There's no coming up next, 9 News. Pacific Ocean is caught in scandal. Caught? Before even anybody knew about it, I said, I did this. It's entertaining, really. People got all bent out of shape over some topless women. And some of the women that got all bent out of shape about that never get bent out of shape about the fact that their own female kind are the ones posing that way. They never say anything about the women posing nude, topless, scantily clad, no bras. Nothing said about that, but men are pigs, men are pigs, men are pigs, pornography's wrong, blah, 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 blah. And it goes on and on and on. And those same women never, ever, ever write those women and say, why are you doing this? You're a stumbling block to men. You're causing them to sin. They don't say a word. My experiment on YouTube was not started as an experiment. It was more like a kid stumbling onto the CB radio going, Baker 19, and then going, hey, little boy, I know where you are. Quit messing around. How did anybody see me doing that? I got on YouTube with just my simple raccoon hat and stuff like that back in Spokane. And it blossomed into what it's blossomed. But I asked myself the following questions. Do I have anywhere to go with this? And the answer is no. I really don't. It's kind of peaked out. More subs are showing up. Legatus doesn't have a channel. Legatus doesn't have a forum. Legatus doesn't talk about anything. There's nothing to talk about. This is a gamer, addicted to games. This is a guy who knows how to do just enough silly, stupid, insignificant stuff on a computer, like archive this, upload this, download that, cut and splice. Big deal. I have friends right now that can do that and more. And if I really wanted to pursue this, we could find out where this clown is. There's plenty of students at the university level that I could contact right now, right here in this city, and say, hey, I'll pay you this much money. Find this clown. Why waste my time? There are hackers. There are people that are more proficient on the computer than I am. They could find this guy. They could find the server he's coming through. They could locate his town. They can do that. I've already talked to law enforcement. Law enforcement says we can find out where this person's from right now. And I will tell you this, if I find out where he's from, I will be contacting the local police in that place and say, this guy has made threats. This is where he lives. Here's all his stuff right here. I'll email all of it to you. I guarantee you they'll go knocking on his door. The police in Gilroy took it seriously when I talked about that Kimberly Keister that was being dogged and harassed. They were going to notify her and they were going to do some investigating. What became of that, I don't know. We're living in a day and age, and even this clown said it, where the world is given to the wicked. The guy's demonic, only for a time, Legatus. And you're going to die one day, and then what? Your biggest accomplishment in life is downing Pacific? You don't have much of a life, dude. You're really wasting your time. Why don't you go after somebody who's got huge wielding influence? You can't. Because if you take on the big boys out there, they'll shut you down in 5 seconds or less. Why don't you go mess with Homeland Security or something? I'd love to see that. Homeland Security would go, and you'd be an ink splat on a wall. You're an idiot. You're a loser. You come up with little cryptic names, and where do they come from? Your world of gaming. Wow, deep life. What is your theology? You have none. Your worldview is as follows. There's no absolutes for you. There's no integrity. See, one of our core values where I work is accountability, integrity, collaboration. You don't operate on any integrity, any accountability. You don't put yourself out there. That's why you can be discredited at all levels. That real men, when they have a disagreement with somebody, that they, even a guy in Hong Kong made a video of himself sitting on a couch in his flat, either in the UK or Hong Kong, taking issue with my Chinese are rude in Hong Kong. But he did it politely and professionally, and his video stands, and I wrote him, I said, you have good points. You can't do that. You're an American or Canadian piece of trash that is just like something on Jerry Springer. I wouldn't be proud of myself if I were you. That's not intellectualism. Ooh, you know how to upload stuff. Wow! You printed my address. You did this. You did that. You're an idiot. Print yours. Tell us what you do. Give us the name of your workplace and the office building you work out of. Do that. Please do that. You can't. You're a chicken. You know as well as I do that if you were to do that, there'd probably be repercussions all by yourself. It wouldn't be for me. But there's enough unstable people on the internet that have probably had enough of your stupid stuff against me that they would take care of you. I believe that. You know why you hide, little boy. You're a little boy. You're a baby. You're an internet stalker. You're an internet freak, creep, sociopath. I'll bet you $1 million that you masturbate. I'll bet you $1 million you look at porn. I'll bet you $1 million that the reason you can't get a girlfriend is because you're butt-ass ugly. Way uglier than myself. I'll bet money on the table. And I'm not a gambling man. You started the war with me. And you got this idea through your little gaming mentality. You think because you can sit there and hold a joystick and go, you think that you're a warrior. I got news for you. You're a loser. All you can do is little junk from behind the scenes. That's it. All you can do is threaten and hide. And I'm disgusted with Google, the corporate people behind Google that won't shut this stuff down. Threatening, making clear threats, and doing nothing. That Google has no 800 number you can call where I can say, hey, this is Pacific Ocean Superliner. You need to look at Legatus Lanius' comments that he's leaving in my inbox. You need to look at the fact he's uploading my videos without my consent or permission in their entirety. that he has an Encyclopedia Dramatica page encouraging violence against me, saying I'm not responsible for anything that may happen. Ha ha ha. If I was the head of any organization, as I do on my boss, any bullying would be shut down. I would ban the user's account. And the minute I saw their name open a new account, I'd put a lock on them and say, no. Any decent organization would shut down bullying. The public schools are on a campaign against bullying. Legatus is not an adult behaving as an adult. He's an adult that never grew up, who was bullied himself and was tired of it, and now has found a way to wreak havoc on the internet, and it makes him feel like a little demon, good about himself. I've called the wiener out. There's nothing else that needs to be known. The only thing that would be enlightening is to see what this clown looks like, to actually hear his voice. You're not going to. Chickens hide. That's it. I'm ending my relationship with Google and YouTube for the following reasons. That even though I believe that they're somewhat democratic, they're going too far. Pacific believes that freedom of speech does not mean you can yell bomb in an airport or fire in a theater. That freedom of speech comes with responsibility. Threatening people, intimidating other people, harassing, stalking, and just tirelessly going after somebody, and YouTube and Google doing nothing, that is harassment. That is bullying. And Pacific does live by an example that I don't bully people. Even if women or people write nasty things on my comment, I will write back, but I just block them and move on. But now these turds can continue to write, and Google thinks they came up with such a brilliant idea that you just won't be able to see their comment. I don't want the scumbag on my channel, Google, like YouTube used to do. Can we go back to that? That's my channel. I have a right to say you don't belong here. You can watch the video, but you're not allowed to enter the comment forum. You're not worthy enough. You're an idiot. I'm not going to support an entity that condones, encourages, and does not a damn thing about bullying, but uses rhetoric. Well, you know, people have the right to freedom of speech. Freedom to threaten? It's interesting that if a bunch of kids get on the internet and threaten to do harm at their public school, the police move in and just all over it. But there's threats made against individuals. There's been women that have been harassed. Maharani was harassed over and over by people. I don't support that stuff. And I live out in my life that when I see bullying on my bus, I'll stop, walk back, and say, you, move up to the front. What for? Calling this person names and threatening them, I'm not going to put up with that, and I'm writing you up. I'll shut it down. I can't do a thing about this loser. And he loves it. It's a demonic-infested little pus stain floating around the internet, being a jerk, poop stain, an ass clam. I don't want to be in a forum that allows this stuff to proliferate. I've had many viewers write me over the years saying, you need to get off YouTube. It's really descended into a lot of ghetto malcontents, medicated, people that are on welfare, people that voted for Barack Obama, smoking their pot, going, oh, look at this retard. Ah. These people are not saving our world. These people aren't reaching anybody with anything constructive or positive. They're passing around a joint. The most dangerous thing to America right now are people that have nothing to do, but yet have access to the internet. It makes them feel big. It makes them feel powerful. It's kind of like the Wizard of Oz. This big image, and then somebody finally, Toto goes back, or dog goes back behind the curtain and finds this little elfin man back there. And Dorothy goes back and says, what? That's what you're dealing with out here. You're not dealing with a bodybuilder. You're not dealing with a guy that's on the front cover of GQ. You're not dealing with a guy who can get any girl he wants. You're not dealing with a guy who's got friends. Most gamers are loners, and they go there because they were never really accepted in society. Even back in the 70s, 80s, they were kind of looked at as a geek, a nerd, a loser. It's those geeks and nerds that are getting on the internet talking tough. But if you were to see them on the street and you were to make eye contact with them, they would go like this. That's who you're dealing with. The internet has made a bunch of quiet people feel pretty big. Pacific doesn't threaten people. Pacific doesn't go around picking fights. Pacific says what he believes. Pacific has a strong voice and a strong conviction. Pacific is also different than most Christians because I can't be put in a box. I offend the evangelicals. I offend the charismatic chaotics. I offend the Joyce Meyer, Joel Osteen crowd. I offend those that are too busy dotting their religious I's and crossing their religious T's and think, wow, Pacific isn't living a very godly life. Neither is anybody else. That I used to be one that dotted my I's, crossed my T's, nitpicked everything. And I still nitpick some things that need to be nitpicked. I make no apologies for my stand. The sad thing is, if the veil were to be pulled off every human being that sits on my channel or doesn't sit on my channel, you'd be surprised at what people admit that they do like. There's women that go to church every Sunday that put on this pious, moral life, but they have a love for violence. They like seeing people get torn apart. Yeah. There's Christian women out there that have admitted to me and even defended these, I can't think of, is it Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, one of them admitted having lesbian tendencies, and now they defend that person. And for crying out loud, you got a Christian in Oregon that threatened to kill me. Look at Gypsy. I'm closer to the Apostle Paul while leaving FU comments, you're an ASS hole, and all my boyfriends and all my friends think that you're a loser. Yeah, you're a school teacher and you're engaging back and forth with me. Somebody who won't come out and show yourself in public. You send me scantily clad photos of yourself, and you seem to have absolutely not one strand of conviction about that. But yet you look at me and say I'm troubled and that there's something wrong with me because I talk with a loud voice and I'm passionate and I'm yelling. I guess you never saw the old preachers. They made a whole lot of noise when they had the pulpit. I don't claim to be as close to God as the Apostle Paul. In fact, the older I get, I haven't seen anybody who's close to God like he is. Paul sits in a class all by himself, so much so that it makes most of us feel very uncomfortable. His devotion to God is second to none. He was different than the apostles. Other people referred to him as a super apostle. Paul was amazing. He sought the mind of Christ. I'm still trying to get there. There are other things that pull at my heart. Part of that's because of growing up in this culture. Part of that is the hardness of life, the deceitfulness of sin, the jadedness that enters my own conscience. To be close to Jesus. Those of us that truly know Christ, we want to get there, but often we don't. Pacific's not a self-righteous form. Pacific's talked about the homosexual issue, the lesbian issue. I find two women making out and being intimate with each other fascinating, but it's wrong. Those same people that criticize me, trust me, they find those desires entertaining themselves. You can't tell me that an atheist man is a morally purist. I don't believe it. Every man I know has no problem with lusting after a scantily clad woman, and some atheists have no problem lusting after another man. So why all this rage against me posting photos? Because they're not so convinced that their evolutionistic belief is so true that they've got to dog me, and if they can find some little flaw, they think they've got a dog bone in their mouth that discredits all of the Christian faith. I hate to tell you this, Buster Boo. Just because Pacific goes off the deep end and launches himself out into some vile sins doesn't mean that the Christian faith comes crashing down. It means that Pacific has fallen off his horse and not living a very godly example. Nothing more, nothing less. Does it discredit Jesus Christ? No. Does it discredit the truth of God's word? No. Does it mean God has toppled off his throne and you've reduced that God into a little box that you can control, little atheist? Nope. If anything, I think Christians have shown the inconsistency of themselves over and over and over again. But I want to close with this because we've gone on and on about this, and I want to tell my faithful viewers, thank you. You guys have been awesome. But I'm moving away from this. That means the comments, all that. We're going to go do something else. The answer may come, will you do videos? I don't know, not on YouTube. I have a site I've been eyeing for some time that I will not tell. And unfortunately, other than a handful of people that I know personally, no one's going to know. Because unfortunately, if I broadcast that, then in comes Legatus and all the other losers to continue the nefarious little toilet behavior on the internet. That's all it is. Bunch of crap. I have gained some solid friendships through YouTube. One of my fans wrote me yesterday and said, you can't even mention our names anymore because this guy is dogging everybody now. That's messed up. Trust me. My fans have made it clear to me if they knew where this guy lived, we'd all show up at the front door. Come out, chicken lips. Let's have a chat. Let's see who you are. We'll have 15,000 cameras. And we'll post you all over the internet. Here's the scoundrel. Wow. You really think you've accomplished something, Legatus, because you posted my fans and you start making little snipey, dumb comments about my friends. You're such a tough guy. You can burn skin and crush bones. So can I, loser. I can set you on fire with a can of gas. Big deal. I could take a tire iron and bust you in half. Wow. Impressive, right? Anybody can harm anybody. You don't have the corner on that. But I'm not the one running around making those statements. You are. You're an ass clam. You're a barnacle on my butt. It's time to scrape you off. Even an ocean liner has to go in and have its hull scraped and repainted. Well, I'm going to repaint it. We're scraping the barnacles off. I'm ending the channel to your delight. Done. Go find something else to do, little boy. You'll find something else to do. Go find another tree to go bark up. I treed the cat. Woof, 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 woof. One day you'll get tired of it. You'll leave and the cat will come out of the tree. Can't be awake all 24 hours of the day. Unless you're a demon in a body and you don't need sleep. Are you done treeing the cat? You didn't tree me. I'm not in your tree, buddy. I'm still making videos. But I'm done. But it has nothing to do with you. It does in part. Any corporate entity, Democrat or conservative, that allows the kind of bullying that goes on the forum of YouTube, it needs to stop. They have control of that. I'd remove Legatus' accounts. I'd shut him down. I'd look at his name. I'd send him an email. You are not welcome on our site anymore. Should you come in under this ID or through your server, you're done. I don't know why YouTube encourages all the FU comments and all the stuff. I don't know why YouTube continues to allow the kind of people that finally get me to a point where I've said, you know, I'm tired of this little a-hole Legatus. I'm not concerned about what people think about my Christianity when it comes to a scumbag like this guy. My Christianity is based on something deeper than my own humanity. It's based on the solid rock of God's word. It's based on the solidness and claims of who Jesus was, who was here, that even Josephus admitted such. Now, my claims don't come crashing down. The atheists believe that they've always shot holes in the Christian faith. The only holes they're shooting is in themselves. There's no absolutes, but boy, they sure absolutely condemn a Christian who sins. I thought you said there's no absolutes, moron. If there's no absolutes, then he didn't sin at all. Ha. But you're not smart enough to get that. The gears don't connect. The dots don't connect either. We know who you are, Legatus. Another Western male. You're not sailing oceans. You're not exploring the polar regions. You're not doing a damn thing. You haven't gone to a foreign country. You didn't try to chase a woman. You didn't try to see what another culture is like. You live in a crap culture, in a ghetto mentality, internet stalking freak culture, addicted to video games. Wow, what a resume. 4 subscribers. You've arrived. Not. I close this out at 3,172 subscribers. And because I've deleted videos over and over, I have well surpassed 1 million viewers. Well surpassed. What have you done, chicken lips? You're a meteor that flashes across the sky and burns out. You make threats against my life, threats to do more harm, threats to come after my fans, but you won't show up face to face and talk to me like a human being and show yourself and shake my hand and agree to disagree. You can't do it. You don't have it inside of you. You're an internet creep. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. How do you go to bed every night thinking that you've actually accomplished something substantial? Why don't you go bring down your president that you root for? Obviously, you support Barack Obama. He's a liar, too. You know, he promised us a health care reform. Yeah, he reformed it all right. Now we pay double. See, you're a Democrat. You're a liberal. You're a loser. You're an evolutionist. You're an atheist. You're nothing but a walking contradiction, and all you can do is attack me. And the reason you attack me, it's not because of my contradiction of posting pictures, which a Christian shouldn't do. That's not it at all. It's because something I've said in my videos really pisses you off. Good. I'm glad I stepped on your toes. You deserved it. If you can't listen to what I say and agree to disagree and move on, the fact that you're doing this proves that I've been effective, that I've gotten you so fixated on me. Herod's wife wouldn't let go of John the Baptist's comment. You should not have your brother's wife. She fixated that when her own daughter danced sensually and sexually in front of her own father, and in a drunken stupor of lust, Herod says, oh, I have to have the kingdom. I'll give it to you, darling. Mommy. John the Baptist had said it was going to close. Dr. J. But Jeremiah is talking about the book of Esther. I would encourage all my Christians to read the book of Esther. The word God is not mentioned once. And yet you see God clearly in it. Haman built gallows. He hated Mordecai. Why did he hate Mordecai? I don't really know, but Mordecai sat outside the king's gate. Mordecai thwarted a plan. Some men were talking about doing the king in, and Mordecai made it known to the king. There's so much in here that I'm not going to give it away, except the teaser is that one night the king couldn't sleep. He says, read me the minutes of the kingdom. Talk about dry stuff and make you sleepy. And it just so happened that the readers came upon the part where Mordecai had advised the king. The king laying there, can't get to sleep, says, was anything done for this guy? No. Then he goes to Haman and says, what should be done for the man the king wants to honor? Haman says, oh, put on a robe and put him on the white horse and say, this is who the king chooses the honor. And the king says, go get Mordecai and do that. And Haman just suddenly goes, Haman is Legatus. Legatus has built his little gallows. He's got all his little things in place to bring me down. And it's only a matter of time before God brings him down by his own devices. He'll cross a line someday that he cannot retrieve himself from, and the police will storm little sucker's house, grab his computer, and bring him into jail and say, you're done. Quite possibly. Or he could die of a heart attack, or he could cross somebody else's path in his own town who's had enough of him, and it'll go poof, and a bug splat on a windshield somewhere. The wicked always try to set traps for us. Always. This guy has the same fixation that Haman had with Mordecai. Mordecai did nothing. Haman went up to the king and said, oh, let's make an edict, get rid of all these people. Ha! What a fool Haman was. So was the king, for that matter. The king says, oh, good idea, good for my ego. Yeah, your own wife is Jewish, by the way. Huh? Yeah. Honey, did you know Haman's doing this, and this? And Haman's own wife told him, why don't you kill this guy? Get rid of Mordecai. And then when Haman says, the king honored Mordecai, and what does his wife do? Just like a lot of these YouTube fools. Oh, well, now you're doomed. Boy, your wife gives you one piece of advice, now she's condemning you for doing it. That's kind of friends Legatus has. They're up and they're down, and they're up and they're down, and inconsistent as hell. Legatus is offended at things that I've said in my videos. He probably struggles with homosexuality. Who knows? We don't know. I don't care. He's butthurt. He's angry. That's what happens when somebody's convicted. It's not that he's doing the world a favor by exposing the civic. Nobody really cares at the end of the day. A few immature girls that want to get on their holy high horse, a few immature guys that want to get on their high horse, they write me off. Big deal. The very thing my video attacks is superficial Christianity. It is a rare thing to find in America's pulpits pastors who are actually real. We got too many pastors who have been married faithfully for 30 years and never did anything wrong, that stand there on Sunday morning very self-righteously, almost patting themselves on the back that they never committed a sexual sin. Well, good for them. But look at the people you have in your congregation and ask yourself this question. Are they changing the freaking world? And the answer is no. Sure, you give your money to missions. Sure, you have your little programs and your Awanas. And how many of those kids come back and serve and want to be part of that church? We got a bunch of old preachers coddling old people that aren't doing a thing, but worrying about a little scratch on their Cadillac. I don't think that's what God meant when he says, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel. We've got an American form of Christianity that's reprobate. I don't care about Legatus. I've had to accept the fact that God allows things to happen. And I could back up and recoil in fear. Oh no, Mr. Bill. Why? Legatus' sins will be shouted from the rooftop one day. It says that in the Bible. What's done in secret will be shouted out in public. God sees what Legatus is doing. Legatus is laughing. He's a mocker. He's exactly what I talked about in my videos. One of those mockers. You know, was it Snively or whatever, and Wacky Raises? You know, the guy sitting back, they're getting off on this. That's a messed up mind. This is a guy who the biggest exercise he gets is from going to his computer to the toilet or to the fridge. That's it, because he's not out taking walks. He's not out working out. He's not doing anything. He's an internet punkster. And he'll continue doing his stupid stuff because that's all he knows how to do. He's not influencing people. He's not helping people with rent. He's not helping people get a place to live. He didn't help a woman get a car. He didn't help a woman do this. Yeah, I mean, I could go on and grandstand about the things God has used me to do, but it's pointless. My videos alone have reached people and encouraged them. Legatus? Nothing but a path of destructive behavior. My viewers know who he is. I'm not educating my viewers. I'm basically telling him what I believe. That you think you're making me fear and this and that. You know what? Your point is nothing. Your point is that you're one of my friends on Facebook who's a wolf in sheep's clothing. So maybe I do know what you look like. You're somebody who's being friendly to me on one side of your face and then doing all this other crap on the other. You know, being a crew on the ocean liner, but down in the engine room, busting pipes, smashing gauges, and opening the sea cocks to let water in. You ain't gonna sink this ship, buddy. God'll sink it, not you. You're sinking your own fast. Because anybody who spends as much time doing what you're doing needs to question himself. You're incapable of it because you follow the father of lies. You live in darkness and you're doing what Satan wants you to do. You go ahead and laugh about that. It's kind of stupid. You're on your way to hell. You spend all eternity there. The first 24 hours in hell, buddy, you're going to be in excruciating pain. And it'll dawn on you that this lasts forever. So you won't be able to touch me when you're there. You won't be able to do a thing when you're there. I'll be in heaven. And you and I will have no connection. You won't be able to troll. You won't be able to be a keyboard warrior. You won't be able to upload a thing. You'll be begging for a drop of water on your tongue, just as the rich man did. You'll be wanting relief from the torment of your weeping and gnashing of teeth. Sounds like a fun place to go, doesn't it? You're going to be there. I think it's a great place for you. That's my ultimate revenge. That if you don't repent, I won't have to ask God to deal with you. You'll get to deal with that for all eternity, and I won't even care because I'll be in heaven. Oh, yes, you'll criticize that. Wow, some Christian he is. He really loves his enemies. I don't love you. I don't love you at all. God knows that. And God's not done with me. And God didn't save me on the basis of my performance. He saved me because I can't get it right. He saved any of us that call out to him because we admit we're a sinner. You don't think you're a sinner. You don't put your faults out there. You don't tell us your job. You don't make your life transparent. It's easy in your glass house to sit there and throw tons of rocks and even boulders. Give us the address of your house. Please tell us who you are. But you won't. You're a chicken. You're a coward. So no matter what you say or do, you're a chicken. You can only do things behind the scenes. You can only do your little nefarious internet bullcrap. You're not one that's going to come to my face or Michael Laidlow's face or all the people that you posted, even the women on my Facebook. You wouldn't come to their face. You're a chicken. You wouldn't even stand in front of some of the girls I know and say what you say. I'd like to bring you to my break room and turn one of the alpha females that I get along with. She'd kick your butt, boy. Chica all the way. I'd love to see that. She would. She would castrate you and she'd knock you on your butt so fast. I'd like to bring you up against just some of the women I work with. They alone could handle you. I wouldn't have to do a thing. Some of them are looking for a good fight, too. Oh, I wish you showed yourself. I do. Because you want to play docs? I'll dox you. And I'll park it all over the internet. So here's the guy that caused me all this trouble. Here's his address, here's his name, here's his place of employment. But you don't have a place of employment. You probably live in welfare housing. You probably exist off if you're in America, I'm paying for your sorry butt with my tax dollars. Isn't that awesome? Or if you're in Canada, you threaten Michael Laidlaw. I love that. You would not go to Michael Laidlaw's door. Michael Laidlaw could tie you in a knot and put you in a trash can. And you got into it with him. Your keyboard warrior mouth. Whoa. You're amazing, aren't you? Why don't you go to his door? He's invited you to come. He told me last night, come on over. His own wife could kick your butt. You won't, because you have no substance. You're an ass clam. That's all you are. You need Jesus. God knows you need Jesus, but you like living in your dark world. You have no substance. You have no depth. You have no theology. You're a lost soul drifting in a sea of darkness. That your biggest target in life is Pacific Ocean Asia. That tells me something I said but hurt you somewhere. You're proving to the world, my world, of people that you have a problem with something I've said. And it's made you so mad instead of coming to terms with it, instead of agreeing to disagree, instead of repenting and turning to Christ from your sins, you are on a campaign, a World of Warcraft to take me down because you are the master of a joystick. Impressive. I'd like to see you put on a suit of armor and wear a sword and see if you could actually be a warrior. I don't think so. We know you're kind. The internet kind. The faceless. Those that hide in the shadows. Those that are legends in their own minds and think they're masters at psycho warfare on the internet. Let's post the dogs. Let's scare him. Let's post his address and all his relatives' names and everybody else. Ooh. Big man. You're lucky we're not out at sea and you're on my ship. I'd push you right over the boat. Say, I hope you know how to swim. Whoosh. How can I have love in my heart for a scoundrel like you? Google and YouTube don't want to deal with the bullying. I'll deal with it. No more user forum. There's no need to. That all of my viewers need to stand up against this kind of thing. That as a Christian, we're not supposed to encourage violence or harm to people. And yet we got atheists and liberals and Democrats and pro-Obama pot-smoking supporters and homosexuals all encouraging violence against me for my views. I've never encouraged violence against any of them. But they sure seem to think it's okay for them to say F you. They seem to think it's okay to post crap about me and then come back and tell me I wasn't going to do anything else, but you mentioned me again. Oh, excuse me. I transgressed your 10 commandments and your standard when you started the whole thing anyway? Butthead? You got to be kidding. What part of hypocrite do you not understand? You declare war on the Pacific. Notice we're an ocean liner, not a battleship. But even the Queen Mary armed herself with guns in World War II. Bonehead. Yeah. You heard me. Don't mess with me, buddy. Because I'm not going to play. You come onto my property and you intend to harm me, I'm going to defend myself and you're going to lose. I promise you that. Guaranteed. because I'm not going to fight with my fists. Got it? Do you understand? You're threatening me. You've threatened me. You've posted my personal information all over the internet. YouTube doesn't do a thing about your threats. Google doesn't do it about your threats. I'm going to be done with using this forum because of that reason. It's not that I'm afraid of you. We're living in different times. And Pacific said he'd never do this, but Pacific needed to. Because when we have enemies that are lurking in the shadows and you don't know what they're going to do, it's time for Pacific to get armed. So we have. Thank you. I'm done playing. You bring this stuff onto my property, you threaten me, you try to do something to me, I will legally take care of my right to self-defense. And you will not win. Okay? Do you understand that? Do I need to tell you any further? So keep doing your blah, blah, blah all over the internet. Keep causing trouble that way. You're going to get caught in your own gallows. I promise you. Because you're going to go do this to somebody else. You'll get tired of me and you'll go find somebody else to fixate on. And that person's going to be smarter than you. And they're going to win at your game. But I'm not going to support Google or YouTube that doesn't do anything about bullies. It's clear. The messages you put in my inbox are clear. I showed them to other people, including law enforcement. They said that's a threat. Unfortunately, they won't do anything until you do something criminal. That even if you come over here and you live in another state, that it's a crime against Lakewood. And you then could be brought to trial and justice, even if you live in another state. That much was told to me. So if you live in Canada, why don't you go see Mr. Laidlow, and we'll see how much of a man you are. He's already said, come on over. You're a chicken. We've called you out. We own you. You don't own us. You don't own us at all. You're the one that doesn't face people face to face. You do internet bullcrap. Child's play. Wow, you can upload things. You can produce a docs. I found out how you did it. You went through the voter ID. Real tough. You went through homeownership records. You did all that stuff. I can do the same thing, buddy. Give me your address. Give me your name. You probably don't vote. Or do you? People like you don't contribute to the good of American society. You're not influencing children for better. You probably flunked out in school. It's pretty obvious what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a colossal failure hiding behind a keyboard. Did you see my picture on my YouTube? It shows an Asian woman holding a sword with some cuts on her. That woman's tougher than you are, and she's just a cartoon. Threatening me, threatening to do more, threatening to go after my fans. You're an idiot. You won't go to their face. You won't sit down in a chair and talk to them, calling them names. Some of those fans are women. And just because you got onto a few of my Facebook friends, you don't even know the other friends that email and write me that aren't even on my Facebook because they don't have Facebook accounts. That if there was to be a symposium in a town where I invited all my viewers and they could come and we were to all show up and you were to bring all your so-called gamer friends and everybody, that my fan base alone would outnumber your scrawny little crowd of losers. That's a fact. The amount of people that I actually know and have good feelings towards me far outnumber the amount of people you know in your entire existence, butthead. So what are you doing? Why don't you go after something big and actually make a difference? Because you can't do that. Dogging Pacific is small potatoes, which tells me you're small potatoes, which tells me you're a tater tot. Any questions? Legatus Lanius, Chaos Theosis. Thank you for keeping it up and keeping it up. You've caused me to make the... Lore Master went away. You made the docs. You made the page. You're the one that sent the little threat letters under Gorilla Mail. Because you're an idiot. You write the same style in everything you do. Michael, you better stop it. Better watch your back. It's the same junk. Please do it all the time. Compare writing to writing. All of that has your stupid little fingerprint all over it. You're like a toddler who's licked his fingers and gotten in the pudding and touched the sliding glass door. It's all over the place, dude. Smudge marks, smear marks. It's all yours. Here I thought it was many. It's just you. That's it. One lousy troll. Lore Master doesn't even think it's worth fighting for anymore, and he dumped his channel. Minor People lost his. There's nothing up there anymore except a bunch of chipmunk stuff. You? You don't have a channel. You don't have a face pick. Why? Because you're probably the Goodyear blimp. I need permission to land. That's probably it. Or you're a pencil neck geek that his little scrawny chicken arm goes, I'm sure of it. Oh, but you can burn my skin and crush my bones. Who are you? A demon-infested gnat? This is what we do with gnats. Punk. Yeah, you pissed me off. You darn right. Because I don't like little people that sit back there doing little dumb things like this. Thinking they're a man, claiming they're a man, writing me a letter saying, by the way, a man did this. You're not a man, dude. Read about Magellan, please. Read about Sir Edmund Hillary, please. Read about Shackleton and Amundsen and Peary. Read about them. Read about Lee. Read about MacArthur. Read about real men, if you can. You don't have any of their qualities. If Pacific were asked to go on a dangerous expedition right now and somebody were to fund me for it, I would do it at risk of my life. You, little butt gnat, wouldn't leave the comfort of your living room or your toilet bowl. You want to sit there and talk trash to me? You're nothing but a chicken. You've threatened. You've made threat after threat after threat, and I still to date haven't. I simply said, you come on my property with intent to harm me, I'm going to show you the door. And that door will end all of your internet involvement. I promise you. You have made threats. Colorado has a make my day law. You come into my property, you come into this place, I have the right to use a firearm. So, just know that. Just know that. Thank you for causing me to take the next step in my life. My cousin had told me to get armed. Some of us pass background checks, unlike you. You want to laugh at me for being a school bus driver? You couldn't even get a CDL and pass a background test to get one, and I'll bet you couldn't even jump through all the hoops to get trained as one, and I'll bet you are in no position to be trustworthy with children. So you laugh at my position and you make fun of me. You can't even get that, loser. We know who you are. You talk tough. You're a big mouth on the internet. But we don't hear your voice. We don't see your picture. You're a keyboard demon. Here he comes. Here comes keyboard demon. Oh yeah, he can make the keys fly. But he'll never show his face because all he is a walking lie. That's it. Go speed demon. Go speed demon. Go keyboard demon. Go. See ya. By the way, this is officially Pacific signing off for good from YouTube from Google. This is it, folks. For those of you just tuning in that like me, I apologize. We're done. I can't support Google. They won't stop bullying and harassment. Harassment more than anything else. Just endless tripe and harassment. I would encourage every one of my viewers to come against Legatus Lanius' channel and report him for harassment. And keep doing it and see if that gets us anywhere. Because it hasn't done a thing for me, even though he's made obvious threats that I've read to you on the internet. And they're all there. He talks about archive. What this moron doesn't realize is everything any of us post, even if you delete it, it's still there. Yep, that's right. So, this is Pacific signing off. Bye.